When you think about protecting your health as you grow older, you might picture your heart, your bones, maybe even your memory. But hidden deep inside your lower back, about the size of two clenched fists, are organs that often don't get the attention they deserve. I'm talking about your kidneys. These small but mighty filters quietly work around the clock, cleaning your blood, balancing your minerals, and helping to keep your entire body in rhythm. Yet here's the surprise. Sometimes the very foods you've always believed were healthy can actually cause harm if your kidneys are struggling. This is especially true if you've been told you have high creatinine, early kidney disease, or if you're already watching a diet for kidney disease. Today I want to share 8 common foods and vegetables that may silently stress your kidneys. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Vital Science for Seniors. Spinach has long been celebrated as a powerhouse of nutrition, the leafy green that Popeye himself relied on for strength. And truly, it is full of goodness. Iron, vitamin K, folate, antioxidants that fight aging. But when it comes to kidney health, spinach carries a hidden sting. I remember one of my patients, Mrs. Alvarez, a lively 72-year-old who loved making green smoothies every morning. She came to me with recurring kidney stones, and she couldn't understand why. When we looked closer at her diet, we discovered she was blending 2 large handfuls of spinach every day. Spinach is loaded with oxalates, natural compounds that, when combined with calcium, can form stones inside the kidneys. Imagine tiny crystals building into pebbles, then into sharp rocks lodged in the delicate tissue of your kidneys. Painful, yes, but also a sign that your kidneys are under attack. Even cooking spinach doesn't solve the issue. Boiling can lower oxalate levels, but only slightly, leaving a heavy load behind. Spinach is also quite high in potassium, which most people think of as a good thing. And it is, unless your kidneys can no longer filter excess potassium. When potassium builds up in the blood, it can disrupt your heart's rhythm, like a drum beat suddenly going out of time. So should you never touch spinach again? Not necessarily. A diet for kidney disease is not about absolute bans, but about balance. Smaller portions, rotating with low potassium foods like cabbage or lettuce, and talking with your doctor about your lab results can allow you to still enjoy spinach without overwhelming your kidneys. Mrs. Alvarez now blends half her greens with cucumber and lettuce, and her stones have never returned. Potatoes are comfort food for so many of us. Mashed on Thanksgiving, baked with a crisp skin, fried golden brown, they remind us of home and family. But for kidneys under strain, potatoes can be like a hidden weight pressing down on an already tired organ. That's because they are one of the richest sources of potassium. A single medium potato with its skin can carry over 900 milligrams. For someone whose kidneys filter well, this isn't a problem. But when the filters are clogged or weakened, that potassium lingers in the bloodstream, like guests at a party who never leave. And when potassium levels rise too high, the heart itself can stumble, skipping beats or racing irregularly. I think of Mr. Jensen, a 68-year-old retired teacher who came to see me after he fainted at his granddaughter's soccer game. His blood work showed dangerously high potassium. He had been eating baked potatoes almost daily, believing them to be a wholesome staple. Once he switched to lower potassium alternatives, boiling his potatoes and discarding the water, eating smaller servings, and sometimes choosing rice or cauliflower mash instead, his potassium levels came down and his energy returned. Even the way we prepare potatoes matters. Boiling can leach out some of the potassium, like draining away excess water from a sponge. Frying, on the other hand, locks it in and adds extra fat and salt that burden both the kidneys and the heart. For people with chronic kidney disease, it's not about fear, but about creativity. A sprinkle of herbs, a drizzle of olive oil, or roasting vegetables like zucchini can replace the satisfaction of fries without the hidden danger. Potatoes can remain part of your plate, but carefully, thoughtfully, and with your kidneys in mind. Swiss chard, with its rainbow-colored stems and dark glossy leaves, looks like a vegetable painted by an artist. Many people over 50 fall in love with it for its rich supply of vitamins A, C, K, and minerals that strengthen bones and support the immune system. But beneath that beauty lies a risk that many don't know about. Like spinach, Swiss chard is dense with oxalates, tiny chemical shards that can latch onto calcium and form kidney stones. Imagine sand swirling in a river, slowly settling into sharp crystals that cut and scrape the riverbed. That's what oxalates do to kidneys already struggling. I once cared for a gentleman named Harold, a 74-year-old gardener who adored growing Swiss chard in his backyard. He ate it almost daily, proud of his harvest. But after months of worsening flank pain, scans revealed multiple kidney stones. His kidneys were doing double duty, battling both age and the constant load of oxalates. Once we adjusted his meals, mixing chard with lower oxalate vegetables like bell peppers and cabbage, and ensuring he drank more water to dilute the oxalates, his pain eased and no new stones formed. Cooking Swiss chard reduces the oxalate content a little, but not enough to make it harmless. Pairing it with calcium-rich foods, like a sprinkle of cheese or a spoonful of yogurt, can help the oxalates bind in the stomach rather than in the kidneys. For those managing kidney disease or high creatinine, moderation is the lifeline. Swiss chard doesn't have to disappear forever. It just has to step down from the daily spotlight. A colorful plate is still possible, just one that protects the very organs that give you strength and independence each day. Rhubarb is one of those vegetables that sneaks into our kitchens disguised as dessert. Its tart stalks become sweet when baked into pies or simmered into jams. For many, it's a taste of springtime nostalgia. But for kidneys, rhubarb can be like a wolf in sheep's clothing. The stalks carry oxalic acid, which the body converts into oxalates, the same troublesome compounds we've already met. Rhubarb leaves are especially dangerous, so much so that they're considered poisonous. But even the stalks can deliver a heavy oxalate load. When these oxalates bind to calcium, they can leave deposits inside the kidneys, like gravel filling a water filter until the flow slows to a trickle. I recall Mrs. Kwan, a 70-year-old who delighted in baking rhubarb crumble for her church group. She came to me tired, her lab work showing rising creatinine levels. It wasn't until we discussed her diet that the picture became clear. She was enjoying rhubarb several times a week. By gently reducing her rhubarb intake and substituting lower oxalate fruits like blueberries or strawberries, her kidney function stabilized, and she still baked desserts that brought joy to her community. Rhubarb also contains potassium, nearly 300 milligrams in a serving, which becomes risky when kidneys can't filter well. Too much potassium in the blood is like too many cars on a narrow bridge. The traffic jams, accidents happen, and in the body that accident can be an irregular heartbeat. The good news is that enjoying rhubarb in small amounts, while staying hydrated and avoiding it during flare-ups of kidney trouble, can keep the pleasure without the peril. The key is mindfulness, knowing that even sweet traditions may need gentle adjustments to protect the kidneys that carry you forward. Tomatoes are the jewel of the garden, bright, juicy, and versatile. They slip into salads, sauces, and soups, carrying with them lycopene, a powerful antioxidant linked to lower inflammation and even a reduced risk of certain cancers. They also brim with vitamin C and folate, nutrients that help cells repair and grow. For most people, tomatoes are a treasure, but for someone with kidney disease, they can become an unexpected challenge. That's because tomatoes are moderately high in potassium. A single medium tomato can hold over 200 milligrams, and when they're stewed into sauces or concentrated into paste, that number multiplies quickly. I think of Jorge, a 66-year-old who loved Italian cooking. Pasta nights with rich tomato sauce were his family tradition. But when his blood work revealed high potassium, his heart rhythm began to waver dangerously. We discovered that his daily sauce habit was silently overwhelming his kidneys. Instead of giving up his cultural meals, Jorge learned to use smaller amounts of fresh tomato, stretch sauces with roasted red peppers, and season generously with herbs for flavor. His potassium levels dropped, and Sunday dinners stayed a joyful ritual rather than a risk. Tomatoes aren't villains. They're simply strong ingredients that need balance. If you've been told you have kidney issues or high creatinine, it's worth watching your intake. For many, enjoying tomatoes in moderation, sliced on a sandwich, a few wedges in a salad, poses no harm. But large bowls of tomato-based soups or daily heavy sauces can tip the scales. With guidance from a doctor or dietitian, tomatoes can remain a bright part of your plate, not a shadow over your health. The secret lies not in fear, but in proportion, allowing your kidneys the space to keep filtering with grace. When we talk about foods that damage the kidneys, most people think only of vegetables or salty snacks. Few suspect the can of soda in their hand. Yet these bubbly drinks, whether cola or fruit-flavored fizz, can quietly wear down kidney health. A standard 12-ounce soda carries nearly 40 grams of sugar. Imagine 10 teaspoons dissolving straight into your bloodstream. That sugar rush forces your body to produce insulin quickly, straining not only your metabolism, but also your kidneys, which must filter the excess. Over time, the repeated surges act like waves pounding against a seawall, eroding its strength. I remember Maria, a 70-year-old grandmother who adored her daily soda, a small pleasure she thought harmless. She arrived at my office with fatigue and aching joints. Her labs showed both borderline diabetes and kidney stress. When she traded her sodas for sparkling water infused with lemon and berries, her blood sugar steadied and her kidney numbers improved within months. She told me she never realized such a simple swap could give her so much energy back. Some turn to diet sodas thinking they're safe, but studies suggest artificial sweeteners may still alter gut health and trick the body into craving more sweets. They don't nourish you, they only create dependence. The real solution is hydration that heals. Plain water, flavored with a slice of cucumber or mint, refreshes without burdening the kidneys. Think of it as oiling the gears of a machine so it runs smoothly rather than grinding under pressure. Each sip of water is an act of protection, while each can of soda is a tiny withdrawal from your body's savings account. Over decades, those withdrawals add up. There's a certain comfort in the smoky aroma of bacon, the snap of a sausage, or the easy convenience of deli slices. For many older adults, these foods are tied to family breakfasts or backyard barbecues. But processed meats carry a hidden burden that kidneys find especially heavy. They are packed with sodium, the very mineral that kidneys must regulate every hour of the day. When sodium floods the bloodstream, it pulls water along with it, raising blood pressure and forcing the kidneys to push harder, like a small pump straining to keep up with a fire hose. Over time, that relentless pressure wears the pump down. I once counseled Leonard, a 75-year-old veteran who relied on ham sandwiches for lunch nearly every day. His swelling ankles and rising blood pressure told a story his kidneys could no longer hide. Research backs this up. A large study published by the National Kidney Foundation found that regular consumption of processed meats increased the risk of chronic kidney disease by 18% compared to those who ate little of it. For Leonard, swapping deli meats for grilled chicken or lentil soup brought relief. Within months, his swelling subsided and his energy returned for the first time in years. Protein itself isn't the enemy. Our bodies need it. But in heavy animal-based portions, it produces waste products that already weakened kidneys must labor to clear. Add the preservatives and nitrates found in many processed meats, and the load grows even heavier. The good news is that simple shifts, like flavoring meals with herbs instead of salt and choosing fresh cuts over processed ones, can lighten the burden. The kidneys, like loyal workhorses, serve better when not pushed beyond their strength. Prunes have earned their place as a trusted remedy for digestion. Many seniors reach for them to ease constipation, appreciating their fiber and natural sweetness. They seem harmless, even medicinal. But when it comes to kidneys, prunes carry a twist. The drying process concentrates their nutrients, especially potassium. What was once a modest fruit becomes a dense packet of minerals. For someone with healthy kidneys, this may pose no issue. But for those with kidney disease, high creatinine, or difficulty filtering electrolytes, those extra milligrams of potassium can build up like excess luggage on a conveyor belt, never quite moving out. I recall Mrs. Delaney, a cheerful 69-year-old who swore by her morning handful of prunes. When she came to me with muscle weakness and irregular heartbeats, her labs revealed elevated potassium. She was shocked. How could something as wholesome as dried fruit be the culprit? By cutting back her prunes and replacing them with lower potassium foods like blueberries and watermelon, her symptoms disappeared, and she still enjoyed fruit daily. This is the subtle lesson prunes teach us. Even healthy foods can tip the balance when kidneys are under strain. Alternatives abound. Raspberries, pineapple, or apples offer fiber and flavor without overwhelming potassium. And if you love prunes too much to part with them completely, portion size becomes a safeguard. A single prune here and there is far gentler than a daily fistful. Paired with proper hydration, you can still support digestion while protecting kidney health. Our bodies in later years require not only nourishment, but also restraint, choosing what sustains without excess. Prunes, sweet as they are, remind us that even nature's medicine can become too strong in the wrong dose. As we've seen, even the most familiar foods, greens from the garden, fruits from the orchard, drinks from the fridge, can carry hidden risks for kidneys that are already working hard. But this isn't a story of fear. It's a story of awareness. With mindful choices, moderation, and guidance from your doctor or dietitian, you can protect kidney function and still enjoy the richness of food. Remember, your kidneys are quiet guardians of your health, and every decision you make either eases or adds to their burden. Choose wisely, drink deeply of water, and never forget, health at any age is possible.